Coming up, a major eastern Kentucky roadway is shut down after a serious crash.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Clay County. The Hal Rogers Parkway at mile point 30 in Clay County remains closed in both directions at last check after a serious crash earlier tonight. No other information about the crash has been released. Traffic is being detoured at exit 20 in Manchester and mile marker at 37.8 at Big Creek. We'll keep you updated on WYMT.com and the WYMT News app, but you'll probably want to avoid that area for the next little bit there on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Clay County. A road in Leslie County is closed due to a rock fall tonight. Officials say Kentucky 2009 is closed at mile point 13. It's unknown how long that road will be closed, but officials say work will not begin until first thing Friday morning. Things are back to normal after an accident caused delays for air travelers at Bluegrass Airport in Lexington this afternoon. Officials say a small plane's landing gear collapsed when it landed on the main runway. No one was hurt, but the plane got stuck and it took some time to move it. Departures and arrivals had to be delayed.
Well, temperatures are getting rather chilly outside. We saw temperatures hover in the 50s as we went through last night. We're already 10 degrees cooler than that tonight. Here are the readings around the region. How about low 40s in many spots? Jonesville's already at freezing. Williamsburg's at 39. Everybody really within a degree or two of about 41. So we continue to see some chilly air work through the mountains on this evening. Here's a look at the cameras around the region, and you see we've got plenty of fog building into the Pikeville Medical Center view there in Pikeville, 42 there. You can see that we are continuing to calm things down on satellite and radar. We will continue to see the possibility for a small chance for a sprinkle, a shower, maybe a flurry into the overnight, but many of us do stay dry. Clouds on the decrease, 33, that low tonight with some breezy conditions clearly diminishing with that fog we see developing. I'll have the very latest on when we could see a return to some chillier air in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Bowling Funeral Home in London hosted a candlelight Christmas service tonight for those who've recently lost loved ones. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how the community came together to celebrate their families and what they believe.
They came into Bowling Funeral Home with heavy hearts.
We've had a lot of friends this year that are here tonight for their families, and my husband passed 3 years ago.
And our dad.
And my dad the year before that.
With some hot cider, cookies, and the interaction between each other, that weight started to lift.
Even though it's very sad, it's still a time to relive all those good memories.
Fighting through thick and thin is something Bowling Funeral Home has been doing with the community for decades.
They've been here for so long, and they're just they're friends to so many in our community.
Once people took their seats for the service, a rhythm began along with lessons from scriptures they cling so tightly to, and suddenly they were all one big family.
It's always been like a home-friendly basis. They treat you like family here. Have been ever since we was small, you know.
A family knowing while circumstances may be irreversible,
it never goes away. Losing a loved one, the pain that you feel and the love you feel for them, it never goes away.
In that darkness, they can bring light. In London, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The funeral home also gave out ornaments to families honoring loved ones that had died. A family in Martin County had their home broken into while out of town on Sunday. Early Sunday morning, Heather Smits was on a weekend getaway in Tennessee with her 3 children. When she woke up, she noticed her phone had alerted her to movement in her home. Soon after, she sent a friend over to check on it, who reported that every present under the Christmas tree and other valuables were gone.
So I go in there and I see a picture. So I send someone up here to check on my house. And he noticed that everything was gone. Like my little boy's dirt bike was sitting out here on the porch. It's gone. The PlayStation 4 is gone. The iMac computer, everything.
Now, her security camera was able to capture this blurry photo. Officials urge folks to call KSP Post 9 if you're able to recognize the person you see on the left of this image. That number is 606-437-7711. A Walmart truck driver saw a need for more toys to be donated to Eastern Kentucky children for Christmas, and Walmarts across Kentucky and beyond supported his vision, gathering more than 4,000 toys in 3 weeks. This morning, the toys were delivered to kids attending Breathitt and Perry County schools.
When this first occurred, Walmart was one of the first people that reached out to our school district for supplies, and so we've been very thankful for their support.
Walmart is delivering toys to 5 different schools in our region, making sure kids affected by the flood feel extra special this holiday season. Tomorrow, they will be in Letcher County. Students in Paintsville are looking toward a fruitful Christmas break thanks to a gift from the Independent School District. Paintsville High School and elementary school students were given fruit bags this Christmas, an effort by the administration to provide a tasty treat to every student. The bags were organized and distributed by the seniors and juniors, making it an act of service this holiday season.
And it's been so wonderful to watch our students actually put these baskets together and to see how much that they have worked as a team, and they have just had such a great time doing this.
The program provided more than 800 bags. Administrators hope to make it an annual project. Some big changes in Kentucky's laws mean you'll be paying more for many services starting in just a couple of weeks. A new law passed last spring adds 35 different categories of services that will be subject to the state's sales and use tax on January 1st. It's part of a broader shift in strategy that also cuts the state's income tax. Garrett Weimer investigates.
Even for an industry that's all about what's permanent.
Piercings, tattoos, and we also do permanent makeup.
The art of tattooing still has seen some changes.
But a disposable grip goes on here.
Take, for example, the tools of the trade, and soon the taxes of it too.
It's a big unknown. We're just not sure how it's gonna be, you know.
Kira is a tattoo artist at To The Grave Tattoo Company in Hamburg Pavilion.
You just turn that on and you're good to go.
Bracing for the sting they fear could come to their business when their services have to tack on a 6% tax starting January 1st.
It kind of stinks, and it is a little worrisome that, we are going to get less clientele coming from that.
House Bill 8 expands Kentucky's sales and use tax, adding close to 36 new categories of services subject to it. The change is part of a larger shift Kentucky's legislature is making. The same law creates conditions to incrementally cut and potentially phase out the state's income tax.
These are different taxes and they have different distributional implications, and those are all kind of political and policy decisions that, in part, the economics literature can shed some light on, but they also involve important judgments by, our citizens and politicians in terms of what their values are.
Several states in recent years have shifted away from income taxes to more consumption-based taxes. But UK economics and public policy professor David Agrawal, whose research focuses on public finance with an emphasis on taxation, says overall across the country, income taxes are responsible for roughly 40% of state revenues, while sales taxes make up a little less than 30%.
We've seen basically that the base broadening efforts by states have not really kept up with the shift from goods towards services.
The fiscal analysis done for HB 8 predicts a $500 million drop in revenue from the income tax cut in 2022-23 and more than $1 billion the next year. Meanwhile, the expansion of the sales and use tax is only estimated to bring in close to $58 million in 2022-23 and about $150 million the next year. Together, if those projections hold, that's a negative of about $1.4 billion. For Kira and others here at To the Grave, they fear the changes also being a negative for them.
We got to feed our families too, and it's just all around not going to be good for anybody.
Expecting the higher price tag for customers to cut into their business, and certainly the tips they rely on as workers.
I know a lot of us around here, like, we rely heavily on our cash tips, just like anybody else, like servers and things like that. That's how we like get lunch and stuff, and you know, gas in the car each week kind of thing. So it's a little scary.
Still, they plan to keep working to make sure their art never fades. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Coming up on Mountain News at 11, the White House has created a plan to counter COVID-19 this winter. Why the Biden administration says it's not just COVID you have to worry about.
Plus, it's feeling a whole lot colder and looking a whole lot foggier outside. It's going to get a whole lot colder than this. Full breakdown on the way.
Oh.